Cause I don't feel like I was a priority over there, you know?
I've put myself through it enough times to know it. I was like, I'm gonna see how it goes with this money, brother. That's what I'm gonna do. So what? You think you better than me?
I hadn't talked to her in years.
You did like 3 straight projects about her, bro. You needed therapy.
Anywhere you are, I'ma be there right beside you. Anywhere you want, cause girl, I know you're down for me, you're right.
Man, I'm excited. We like finally get a chance to just sit down and talk on camera for once. We do this all the time.
Yeah.
Steak and Shake at Warner Robins, Mama's Kitchens,
It's
car
kind of
rides.
weird when you like, when it's like conducted, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like scheduled out, but I mean, yeah, it's cool.
I like it because we always have these like moments in our conversations where we figure out either what we're doing next in our career or we say something that could help other creatives, and it'd be really cool. We just thought it'd be really cool to put that together for people.
Right.
So yeah, man, what's going on with you? How you been?
I guess it's good. You know what I mean? We put this EP out. I feel like that helped me out in terms of like just kind of opening some other doors. I mean, obviously, you know my situation. I'm sure we'll get into all of that soon, but I was independent going into the EP, and then now it seems like some other doors is open to kind of like do some stuff with this next project. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited, and I've heard some of the new stuff you're working on. So like, I'm excited for what you got coming up next.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck going on. That's where I'm at, bro. You know,
In terms of like the project or what?
no, in life, brother. I don't know what's
You just had a baby.
yes.
Like,
that's why I don't know what's going on.
You just in disarray just all the time these days.
Got a 2-year-old and at the moment a 2-week-old, 2 baby girls, and it's just been hasn't been crazy at all. I can sleep through anything, so it's not like I'm like losing sleep or nothing.
Especially when you got that white noise on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's perfect.
Shout out to the Calm app. We need that endorsement.
I need the
sponsorship.
Calm app endorsement. I be using that white noise ocean surf. That's what I use every night.
Putting y'all on.
It's perfect. Sponsored by. It's perfect for me. It's yeah. But anyway, everything's a blur because of that. In the middle of music, working on my own album while putting our EP out, while making sure my very pregnant wife at the time is like okay, and the EP comes out. We need a chance to do content, but I live in Texas. You live in San Antonio. You live in Sacramento.
Live everywhere.
We're just everything's crazy, right? And baby girl finally comes. I can't do nothing for a while because I'm taking care of the family. Only reason I'm here now is because we had to get something done, and I got somebody to be at the house to help my wife.
Obviously, yeah, you got a lot going on.
And you know, I want to contribute. I don't want anything to be held back simply because life is going on. But you know, I signed on for everything, so I want to do my part. But yeah, that's why I feel like everything's just all over the place because it is. But I'm still doing well though. I'm happy. It's been nice to not have to do things necessarily because I was doing a lot with the church and wherever else. So it's been nice to just sit down and just be with family, take care of family. So
Right.
good, man.
I feel like, I mean, obviously we had this idea because you wanted to kind of ask questions and pick the brain a little bit more about just things that I guess we just normally don't get to talk about or just doesn't come to mind when we are. Because a lot of times when we're together, we don't really, when we talk about music, but I mean, there's other aspects of life that we've been friends forever. So it's like, that's half of it, but it's not all of it. So I'll let you go first if you have anything that you
Yeah, I'll just keep on the family aspect of it and intertwine the music. One question I have, because you know I realize how I realize the effects in my life from it. So just from the perspective of now being a father and being in a long-term committed relationship, how have those responsibilities, I don't want to say changed, but maybe like how have they informed the way that you approach your career now? Because it's not like it was, we could just do whatever we want, when we want, how we want. Maybe it's like the speed of how you make music or how often you travel or what choices you make for what brand to work with, stuff like that. How has just your life now informed how you do your career day to day?
I don't know. I feel like when Harlow was born, it's my daughter. I feel like when she was born, it just kind of threw everything into perspective for me in terms of just life and like separating career from that. Because my life was career. There was no like separation. You know what I mean? It was like that was it. I mixed both, and they just kind of like was just one thing. But yeah, when she came about, it was like I felt like I took a step back, honestly, just to kind of like gather real appreciation for life itself. So that was like a very interesting time in my life, and I felt like I also, it was a double-edged sword, or like a weird thing where it's like this part of it was like I'm not inspired to make music. I just wasn't inspired at all, which is weird, in hindsight. But because, and when you talk about this all the time with me, you'll say you've been making music since you were 14. Like it's good to like take some time. Yeah, sit down. And then, as much as I do, like I used to make songs every day. I would have tons and tons of songs. I think the first mixtape I did was like 21 songs on it. Like, so that, yeah, I used to be in love with the creation process of it. But like, I don't know, over time, I guess, especially after signing, both of us making it a full-time career, it lost a lot of its like fun, I guess, because now it's a business. Now it's about trying to make a hit in terms of like when I was under the umbrella of the machine, I guess, so that aspect of it became a little like not too fun for me eventually. And then when Harlow came, it was like, screw it. Like, I don't really want to even mess with it. So I didn't make music for a while, to be honest. In fact, like Forgotten Flowers, which was my last independent like project that I put out, was pretty much created from all scrapped ideas and scrapped songs I just never put out. And I just asked shout out Dylan Graham, to kind of build beats around those ideas back then. And we just kind of put it together and threw it out. But I hadn't really created for a while, and I feel like the first creation since Harlow, like, was this EP with you. You know what I mean? And even then, like Vulnerable, we reached back to 2016. We had put that song out years ago. So to go back to the initial question, I think it's just kind of like it was a blessing and like a curse, I guess, because I started appreciating life. I started appreciating where I was in life personally, but career-wise, I feel like it threw me off into like this like zone where I just wasn't inspired to do much. But I don't know.
You talked about like not being in love with the creative process anymore of music. Is that simply because of what you went through with the labels and how they wanted you to create?
Yeah. And we've had conversations about this before. I feel like Trouble in Paradise was like that was like a good clean swing. I swung really hard with that project, and like was hoping to hit it out the park, and I felt like I did, but not having the support from the label and not even really understanding like the business side of like they're not gonna extend or overextend in a sense to make it work, because I don't feel like I was a priority over there, and that sucked.
Which label? Because you've been on two majors.
Yeah,
this is Atlantic.
Yeah,
okay.
I was at Atlantic from 2015 to 2019, and then 2020 to 2022 was Motown Capital. Yeah. So yeah, when I was at Atlantic, it just I never felt like I was a real priority. I honestly felt like I was just another artist, just to kind of like sign off and whatever. If he pops, he pops. He doesn't. But it wasn't like a priority thing,
Just one thing that they were doing, all labels at the time, was kind of just buying up the market. Like if there's artists out there that fans love, they have a fan base, they're making money on their own, let us get a cut of the money. So just sign them. And labels are in over their heads now, for the most part. In that way, they can't take up the market like they were at the time.
Yeah.
But at that time, that's exactly what they were doing, bro. And it was like, maybe we get lucky, or even if we don't, at least we still get some of what's going on right now. Right. So a lot of us was just getting.
I feel like we also came up at a crazy time where it was just like, when we were coming up, record labels was like, we got to get a record label, we got to get a record or a deal. And then you get one and you realize like, oh, what's behind the curtain is like not what you expected it to be at all. So that was kind of disappointing, and Trouble in Paradise was like I said, a valiant effort, I thought, at trying to put together something very creative, very thoughtful, thought out, story driven concept, everything. If you listen to that project from top to finish, I thought it was like a very well planned, thought out project, and I put everything into it. I had the skits going, and I was the one doing this. I had my own studio down in Jonesboro, Georgia. We had that in the basement, and I just spent so much time on that project. And for it to come out and it's kind of like be underwhelmingly received, I know it wasn't because of me. You know what I mean? I know it was because it wasn't pushed at all, honestly.
You say that about like to your own fan base or beyond your fan base?
No. I say that beyond my fan base. I say that because I felt like it did well amongst my fan base, because I went on tour for that project and they came out, like the fans came out. But I felt like I was hitting a ceiling. You know what I mean? And I felt like at that point, why continue? Obviously, like we talk about this now, where it's like we want to serve our fans. That's the main goal at this stage of our careers. But when you're under a machine, the goal is to go past that ceiling. You know what I mean? Like at this point, as independent artists, like we want to make sure we serve our community, the people that really love us, love our music. That's like number one, especially as independent artists. But it's up to the label to push past that. You know what I mean? They have millions of dollars. Some companies billions. You know what I mean? And like you can't use a little bit of that to kind of like make sure that we get past that ceiling. So, and I felt like
at least the first time around, let's see what we do.
Yeah, like at least the first time, and I feel like going back to, now that you mentioned that, like the first project I put out under Atlantic hit Billboard like number 12 or something like that.
And they didn't know.
I had to tell them the next year when I was working on Aura 2, or 2 years later when I was working on Aura 2, I was like, I don't know if y'all noticed, but like Billboard, I was like Heat Seekers or something like that, top. It was like number 12 or something like that. And I'm like, this did really well. In my eyes, it did really well. That was like incredible for me at the time. And no one brought it up to me. No one said
it's a debut on a major.
Yeah. It's like, okay, they just, but it is what it is. You can't cry over spilled milk, I guess. So just got to keep working.
I think now that we've both been through some deals, we look at a major label differently, or just a label in general.
100%. Like
in the past, it was, this is going to help me become a star and reach all my dreams. Mm-hmm. And now this is going to help me pay for this, and that. For videos, for marketing, whatever else, right? Like we see it from the business aspect much more now.
Yeah.
Our connection to the fans and however far the music takes us, that's what's going to either make us a star in the fans' eyes or not. Mm-hmm. And we rely on the music and our connection with them for that. But the business aspect, the just signing a deal is no longer about, oh, this is going to take me to the top. Like, it's not.
And now we have children, so it's like, that's like number one now. Yeah. It's like taking care of them, making sure that they're good. So anything that's coming across the table and it's not serving them first, it's like, I'm not even entertaining it. You know what I mean? If I can't take care of them first and then myself, like I want to pour into my dream and pour into my creative endeavors. But I feel like that's like number one. Like just making sure the family's straight, everybody's good at home, and then we can go into that. So
I don't like to leave the house and not come back with at least a mortgage.
Yeah.
Like bare minimum.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that was like a pivotal point where I was kind of like spiraled out at that point, where it's like I didn't really care too much after that. And then I had a second breath, with Motown and Sean Barron, who's my manager now. Shout out Sean. Was like, yo, I'll give you another shot. Let's try it again, And then that just kind of crumbled from the inside out, basically. It wasn't it wasn't anything we did at that point because we put out Or 3. Or 3 did really well. I was like scratching like actually I was like at 1 million monthly listeners at that point, which told me people were listening, and it was keeping momentum and yada yada yada. But once that project came out, it died. 2022, it just died, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Like, I don't know what's happening. And then he started seeing like a lot of execs leaving and people getting fired and blah blah blah, and you're just like, you're just a product of that. And that part sucked.
Similar story.
Yeah.
For me.
So yeah, from that point on, now I'm independent. And then fast forward to now, we put this EP out and now some other doors have been opening. So yeah, we're trying to figure it out. But going back to my situation, you were under RCA.
Yeah.
You got signed and that took a while. I remember you like complaining for a while about.
I think I first met with Tunji like a year before I actually signed a paper. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And we were
my deal with Atlantic took a while too. I think I met with them in like February and I didn't sign till like October, so it took a while too. Not as long as that.
Mine was a full calendar year, brother. It was.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, tell me about that process. Like, what was that like having, like that dream finally come true? Because you were working at like a barbecue spot. Like, wasn't you like?
I was working at Bill Miller Barbecue in San Antonio. Not when I signed the deal, but like as I'm still dreaming. Like that's where I was. When I was at Bill Miller, I went out for American Idol season 11 because that's
hilarious to think about.
Yeah. I went out for American Idol. I remember, I don't even want to tell that full story, but anyway, I remember as we got up to the judges, because we're in Houston at where the Houston Texans play,
right?
And their field is artificial, so it's no field, it's just concrete where a field would be, and they have 12 judge tables that go across. It's just one individual judge at every table. There's like people are lined up by fours, in lines and rows. So R4 was up next, but they got all the judges up, and I guess they gave them a break. And I was like, oh no, they're about to tell them something new. Yeah. Or they're about to like get them to change up who they've been sending back or something. And in my brain, I just was like, I'm thinking this, if I get to sing before this, maybe I make it, but I don't think I'm going to now, no matter how good I do. So I step up to sing, I get complimented on my look, I sing, I did a great job. Like, I would have critiqued myself really hard if I didn't. I did a great job. She picked one out of the four of us, and the rest of us had to like walk out of this loser's tunnel. It's like one of the team's this the team tunnel. It was like, but they used it as loser's tunnel. That's essentially insane. It was like, if you don't make it, go there, and it was a loser tunnel. Oh my god! So even worse, it had to be. There was these huge dudes. They had to be like offensive or defensive linemen for the Texans, and a really tall, scrawny guy. Do you remember Matt Schaub? I don't. He was the quarterback for the Houston Texans. I think it was Matt Schaub, and he cut my tag off. I was like, you suck, Matt Schaub. But anyway, so like, I remember
Is he still in the league?
No, what? That was way too long ago. Oh. How old? I was 21. Yeah, it was too long ago.
That's funny.
But that was devastating for me.
Did you do The Voice too?
Yeah. I tried Idol. I went for The Voice. Same thing. I didn't get past the initial judge at any show. I think I did Voice, Idol, and America's Got Talent. And none of those were for me. Like, thank God I didn't get through any of them.
Look at him now. Look at him now.
Okay.
Look at him now.
The Stewie thing. Oh. You didn't believe in me. But I'm very happy because you start learning about like the contracts and stuff that they have to sign and what they can and can't do. Like,
yeah, you don't want to be in that situation.
I'm very happy it didn't work out for me. That was just God's protection, and I didn't know it or couldn't see it. So, I mean, I was just dreaming at that time in San Antonio. By the time I finally signed, I had moved to Georgia. It's a fly. I had moved to Georgia, and hey, you can't be in the video, bro. He said, "You want shine time?"
The hell? All right.
By the time I had signed to RCA, I moved to Georgia. I was living with my sister, trying to be a man, just take up some bills or whatever. And we finally got that deal done 2017.
Yeah.
I think it is. Is it 2017? Maybe 2018. Because we put out Moments Spent Loving You in 2019. So it just took a while to get it done, but Tunji was great, man. He advocated for me. I was in the building as often as I could be.
Yeah.
And he just took care of stuff. He let us do whatever we wanted for the first album.
Yeah. That's dope. Tunji's a good guy. He's one of the first people that reached out when I had my little stint in 2015 before I signed. I think he was interested in signing me as well, but I think it was something with the schedule. I couldn't make it out to LA at that specific time, and next thing I knew, Bryson was signed to RCA, and I was like, oh, I guess they found somebody else. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, what happened? Okay, so he left, and what year was that?
That was, what year was that? It might have been 2021.
Okay. And at that point, you're like, let me go too, or what?
No, so it was very weird, man. Not weird for him. Like, he did the right thing. He was looking for a job in the building. He wanted to move up. They didn't have anything for him. So what do you do when your team don't got nothing for you? You go look. Right. And so he found freaking CEO of Def Jam. And so that's what he took. And that left me at RCA without any support. And that's not his fault. That's RCA's fault for not like being able to put it together.
Yeah.
I don't even know the name of the A&R they gave me next. I met her once over Zoom. We were talking about right before I was about to do Tiny Desk at Home. Mm-hmm. Met with her once, and then we met with her assistant Jordan all the time, which is why I know her name. I didn't meet my main A&R again after that. I had ideas for what I wanted to do with
That's so
If You
stupid,
Feel.
man.
And so by the time that switch, I think, happened at the beginning of 2021. Tunji was like already making his transition, I believe. Because by March of 21 is when I did Tiny Desk and all that stuff, somewhere around there, in that first quarter of the year. I didn't get released until October of 21 because they had a conversation with us and they said, hey, you know, Tunji's gone, we want to figure something out with you. You can either just walk, and there's some what's it called? The back end. There's some back end that they'd have to pay me that they still owed me for the last project. Mm-hmm. Or what they really wanted to do was to use the back end.
Yeah.
Not roll the whole thing over because they just wanted to do a single. There ain't that much money in the world for a single. So they just wanted to use money from that to do a single. And then they said, end quote, see how it goes. I was like, I'm gonna see how it goes with this money, brother. That's what I'm gonna do. So we got out of there, bro. Like, what?
Yeah. No, you did the right thing. I think you did the right thing.
It didn't make sense. They didn't have no vision for me or nobody to support.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot with artists. And I got out great. I got out like unscathed in that way.
I feel like for me, I feel like I just always had bad luck at just with my situations, you know, like I mentioned earlier with like the collapse in like Motown or whatever. But in Atlantic, before All Have Fallen came out, my product manager just quit and went somewhere else. So this is like a week or two before the project was supposed to drop. So now I'm bringing on somebody new. Shout out to Allie. She came over and tried her best to figure something out. We didn't know each other. She didn't know my music, nothing of that. But now you're trying to tell somebody to like figure this out. And they're like, oh, okay, I guess I got to pick up the pieces. So it was just like rough all around, you know, just trying to figure out what I was going to do under that label. I always felt like I just, you know, was never looked at as like a priority, but, you know, I harped on that earlier, but yeah, it's weird, bro. We had some weird situations. At least we had the experience, though.
Yeah, and that was part of why I grabbed my phone, because I know there was a question in here that was like related to that. Where's it? Oh, did I delete it? I think I remember it. Oh no, here it is. Cool. So you've been on 2 majors. We just went over that. I want to ask, this is a multi-part question,
AB.
basically. What's one positive memory, one negative memory, and one lesson you learned from those experiences?
A bunch of negatives, but positive. I mean, I say when Aura 2 came out in 2017, I don't feel like I've ever been celebrated before. And I know this might sound sad, but I often like see movies and I see other people be celebrated, and I always think to myself like, damn, like I would like love to feel that, you know, that energy. You know what I mean? I see like people like LeBron and Steph and these guys that just they put on for their cities and they're celebrated so much. You know what I mean? Like, and I always think like, what's that feel like? You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like the only time that was equivalent or even similar and just close to that feeling could be when I put Aura 2 out, and I was invited to dinner, and the whole staff that I was dealing with at Atlantic was there.
Wow.
And they brought a cake out with Aura 2 on the cover of the cake. Wasn't expecting any of that, you know, and I blew the candles out. It was just like a celebration for that project coming out. And I think that was like the first and maybe only time. And I know that sounds crazy, but I think that was like the only time like I felt celebrated. You know, I felt
like your career or just in life?
Yeah, just career.
Okay.
Career. I mean,
like,
obviously you have birthdays and things of that nature in your personal life, but we're talking about like, and that's the reason why I brought up Steph and LeBron and just people like that for what they do.
Yeah.
Being celebrated. I feel like I've never been celebrated until that point, and I just thought that was great. So that was like a positive. Negative, I guess in that same vein, I think it came out early. And I started seeing people overseas, like posting the track listings and stuff and like listening. And at that point in time, you know, leaks was like a big deal to me, where I was like, I don't want this out before it's supposed to be out. So that really, really upset me that day. And so that was kind of like a negative.
It's not a leak though.
I mean, it was too early though. It was
where they live.
You want it to be out the same time everywhere.
That's not how the world works.
That's how I wanted it to come out. You know what I mean? But it just didn't come out that way.
It's time
Yeah, I know.
zones.
If it's 12 here, then it should be 5 there or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
okay. You're saying, you want it to be one time.
For everywhere.
I get it.
Matter. You know what I mean? That's how
Instead
I
of
was
just
stickler.
12 everywhere.
I was very like,
All right.
you know what I mean about that. But that's not really a big deal. I have way worse negatives. I'm sure I could think of. And then a lesson you said.
Yeah.
I learned a big lesson going into the label situation about being collaborative, because up to that point, you know me very well in terms of just how I used to create. I was very one-man band.
Yeah.
Made my own beats, made my own, or engineered myself. I used to engineer you guys. Wrote my lyrics, wrote everything. You know what I mean? Like I did everything by myself. Wanted to shoot my own videos, direct my own ideas and things of that nature. And coming into the label, I was humbled very quickly that I couldn't do all of that all at once. And obviously, like, you meet producers that's like insanely talented. You're like, there's no way I can compete with this. So it was humbling, and it was a good moment for me to just say, hey, it's okay to let other people, you know, do what they're best at.
Yeah.
You just focus on the music and focus on your lyrics, So yeah, I think collaboration was like a huge lesson for me. And I know that's like might be minute, but like
No,
because
of like how we started, what we were doing. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's super cool.
I guess I could say the same thing for you, because you under the label as well, under RCA. So like, what was the same takeaway for you? Negative, positive, and a lesson?
Positive. This is not difficult because they weren't nice to me, but I'm just trying to actually think of like something that was meaningful in the experience of it. Because obviously the biggest check I ever got in my life when I signed, so that was great. Yeah. But like in the working process, here's something.
I wasn't really thinking about money, but
here's something I loved, because I've never had it. It's their job, but I've never had it. Because in 2019, Tunji just let me and Sango just cook, because it had worked before. So don't get in their way. Just let them do what they want.
Yeah.
But for If You Feel, he like went out and set me up a whole schedule, and it was from March 2nd.
Is this positive or negative?
It's positive.
Positive. Okay.
From March 2nd of 2020 to March, I think 31st, I was gonna have 23 sessions, and he found all these producers that he thought I could possibly mesh well with, and we're just gonna go work and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that was very intimidating for me because number one, I don't work a lot, like musically. I don't simply work only on inspiration, but it's just that the music does come in pockets of time, and it's not.
You're very much like not a forceful.
Yeah, I'm not gonna force it because I'm gonna go in there where I can put something down. I can make a song, but if I don't like it or it sucks, what's the point? So, but I can make a song every day.
Yeah.
I can make multiple songs a day.
Quality over quantity.
I've put myself through it enough times to know it. It's like, do I have anything to say? And I'll go find out here and there, but I'm probably not going to find out 23 times in a month, honestly. It just don't be working out like that.
Yeah.
But when you're hot, so you go for it. Anyway, I didn't know what I was very nervous. I'm about to get in front of these producers that I do want to impress and fail. But when we got in there, I only got to do 8 sessions because of COVID. So I went home, but we got 5 songs out of those 8 sessions that ended up on the album.
That's where you met Camper?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we did so much more together.
Sick.
And it was just,
Shout out to Camper.
I love Camp.
Yeah.
It was incredible, man. Like I loved that Tunji had the vision, the ear to find all those different producers and get me in the room and just say, let's see.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Like I said, that might just be the A&R's like normal job, but I hadn't experienced it before, and that was amazing.
That was typically my like you said, that was your experience, but that was my experience all the time with Atlantic, was like them trying to figure out different producers, and it's a very like weird thing too, because it's like you don't know what the vibe is gonna be, what the energy is gonna be, and some of those producers are just like, I don't ever want to see this guy again.
Yeah, it was 1 or 2 for me.
Then,
like that.
There's others that's like you just click, and obviously like you and Camp, like y'all have a great chemistry together, like musically. It's like the stuff the new stuff you show me is incredible. I didn't mean to blast you out.
Oh
like that.
God, well, Camp is on my new stuff, guys.
But yeah, it's dope stuff. But yeah, negative. What's negative?
The music videos.
Oh, really?
I didn't like either one. The first one, I tried to give the input of the idea that I wanted, and they tried to expand it, and it just didn't come together as well as I hoped. So I can't say that was really their fault. But I'm like, I got on like caked up makeup and everything in the video. It's horrible.
Not the caked up makeup.
Excuse me.
That's insane.
It's horrible. I look like, you remember that time Shannon Sharp looked like he was in a casket? That was me. Crazy. That's what I look like. Yeah. I didn't love that. And then on the next video.
Mama shit.
That's Mama Shell. Leave it alone.
Shout out Uncle Shannon.
On the next video, Surf. So Surf is a sex song while we're here.
Yeah.
But I didn't want an overtly sexual video. So I was just trying to I asked them to tell whoever they were, reach out to for treatments, just to like, maybe make it humorous or something like that. Yeah. It's a sexual song, so I don't want to avoid the subject entirely, but I don't want it overt. That's all I said. I got stuff that had no correlation whatsoever or was exactly what I asked for.
I had that happen a lot.
I couldn't get the in between. So like the video that I landed on isn't the video that we shot. Like even that was like I was trying to just like change some stuff.
You say music videos, but I think my favorite video from you was doing Wale, and is it Van Jess was on that?
That's Just Get Here. That's the caked up.
Okay. Yeah. That was a good video. I like that video.
That was the Adjustment Bureau was the idea when you like.
I mean, that's probably why I liked it because I love that movie. But yeah, now that you mentioned that can go to my negatives as well. I hated doing music videos. I felt like I never really had input on it. It was always like, oh, we're gonna reach out to a director and they're gonna give us a treatment, and you can make your notes, and then you give them notes, and then you get there to shoot. None of your notes are taken into consideration.
Yeah.
My kind of like awkward moments was like having to meet a lead or an actress or whatever, and they're like, grab her ass or kiss her on her neck right there, or like grab her. I'm like, I just never felt really comfortable doing all of that. I'm like, I don't want to do that. You know, I think I'm good. So like those experiences were just really awkward and weird for me, kind of like in that system. But yeah, nowadays I'm like,
I wouldn't let them tell me what to do in that aspect. Yeah. Being married, even if I wasn't though, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm stubborn.
We're talking about when we were signed though. You know what I mean?
That's when I was signed. I had
girls in these
videos.
True. I'm talking about though, like you weren't signed. You weren't married when you first signed though. You know what I mean?
By the time I shot a video, I was.
Oh, okay.
And in the first video, they did want me to like, and Just Get Here, they wanted me to be much more like, they wanted us to kiss and all kind of stuff. And I was just like, I'm too newly married for me to be like having me kissing on wax forever, my boy. Like it's not gonna happen. And then Kristen did the next video with me, so that was cool. I got her to do that whole era with me. Actually, that was pretty fun.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Lesson learned.
Ooh, it really is just the business approach of working with a company. They're not gonna change my life. Like they're not even looking to. So I approach the company now with, what do I need? What can I offer them? What can they offer me? And how can we reach those goals?
Yeah.
And if stardom or something super viral or big hit comes in the midst of all that, great. We've done the work to make sure that we can sustain it, but it can't make it the goal, because more than likely it's a goal you'll never reach. The goal needs to be, do we have the resources to take care of the ideas that we have? And can I make enjoy the money, like make a living off of the work that I've created and the work that I'm putting in? Right. So my factors are different now for how I approach a lot of stuff in business, specifically with a label, but a lot of stuff in business. Sure. And I had favorable terms at RCA. I mean, favorable. It was great. It was a phenomenal contract. Sebastian's a beast.
Yeah, probably why it took you so long to get it together.
Sebastian's going to do what he got to do to get me taken care of every time. But it's just, yeah.
I was going to say, celebrities. Me and you both have kind of ran into our fair share of celebrities. Who's like somebody that like came to a show or like you met and you were just like, I just never thought I would be in the same room as this person. Like, you know what I mean? I will say, like, one day, I remember you called me and you were like, Paula Patton's at my show. And I was like, what the hell?
It was so random.
And I had a huge, like that Mission Impossible movie had just came out recently too. I was like, no way had I missed this show, all the shows.
It was, she didn't hit us ahead of time or nothing like that. So she was just in the crowd.
Were her and Robin Thicke together at this time?
No. Oh. It was this dude like a tight end, whoever she was with.
Oh, or
I don't know who the dude was, but apparently, I'm not even gonna say that because this is on camera.
I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, I don't know, but apparently she was having a good old time.
Yeah.
That night, I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell honestly. There was too much going on in the room that day, but it was very random. Just be like, yo, Paula Patton's here. Like Josh came up and told me, and so he brought her in the room. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Right. Nice, that's really cool. I went once in New York to surprise. I'm surprising No Name. She was performing at Baby's All Right, and we have that song All I Need together. So I popped up and did the chorus, and I go back down, and in the green room area is J. Cole. And I did not expect to see J. Cole tonight.
Yeah.
He was mad cool. I wasn't in his face or nothing, but he was just really cool.
Yeah.
So that was dope. There's just been like I think that was maybe the only real time, because I so didn't expect it, that a celebrity was like in the room or popped up and
it took you back.
Yeah, you could feel like the
energy shift.
Yeah, you just get overcome by the stardom a little bit.
Yeah. I've been in a lot of rooms like that.
I've met a lot of people especially if I know they're going to be there. Like I'm not starstruck. I'm really not. Now, there's some people I'm gonna be starstruck about if I meet them. I know that for sure.
I mean, yeah.
LeBron, Pharrell, James Blake, like it's gonna happen. But
For real, yeah.
those are my people. But at the end, like at the end of the day, people are just people. So it usually isn't a big thing for me to meet someone else. But I very much respect Cole and what he's done, and I wasn't expecting it whatsoever. So that was a real shock.
I met Cole. Well, I didn't meet him personally, but just kind of being around him and just kind of seeing his actions and how he moves. He's real chill, down to earth. It was during the Revenge of the Dreamers, like that mixtape that they all put together. They had a bunch of artists and creators just come to a studio over at Tree Sound in Atlanta. That's where I met Ari Lennox and connected with her. And
I didn't know you met her.
Yeah, and so it was funny. My main takeaway from that, since we're on the topic of celebrities, is there's this guy there, and I don't know if he's like with somebody, one of the other artists or something, but I don't think he was like there to create. He was just there. Dude comes up to Cole, and he's like, and I'm like right next to these guys, so I'm like, coming to Cole, he's like, "Oh, can I get a picture real quick?" And Cole's like, "Man, I'm here all night, bro. I'll be around." You know what I mean? Like bro, like, you're kind of thirsty, you know what I mean? Kind of, but and then shortly after, I grab a beer from the kitchen, and I'm asking around, like, anyone have like a can or beer opener they could open this up with? And Chris Bosh is like, "I got you, bro." Takes my beer and opens it with his hand or whatever he did. I don't know if he used another bottle to open it. Hands it back to me, and I was just like, "You just like." Chris, why? It's just random as hell. You never really understand these interactions.
Is this Toronto or Miami?
We're in Atlanta.
No, which Chris Bosh?
Yeah. It's Miami.
Okay.
No. I think he was already retired. He had recently retired.
Okay.
Yeah, he was already retired. But I think he called himself not called himself. I don't want to disrespect him, but he was making beats at the time. So he was there, I guess, probably just beats or whatever.
Man.
But it was still Chris Bosh, and he's opened my beer for me.
himself.
I was like, wow. Yeah, I know, that's crazy.
Hey man,
that's why I prefaced that. I said I don't want to disrespect him, but because I never heard anything. But he's probably fired. But I
never heard anything. All right, we gotta.
You said Pharrell. I met Pharrell, so you know what I mean. That was the cool experience.
So what? You think you better than me?
Yeah, that face was crazy though. I ain't gonna lie.
You think you better than me because you met Pharrell?
You think you better than me? You know what I'm referring to.
Hey man,
it's just a simple fact.
Hey man, I can still dream.
Do you know what I'm talking about? When you said that?
What?
You think you better than me?
Oh come on, man, that's an inside joke, bro. They can't even bring the people in, bro. Come on, man.
Fact. Oh man. But anyway, yeah, you are. I mean, you know how much Pharrell has meant to both of us. To be honest, but that was a surreal moment for me. I haven't. That's like always going to be one of those things that I just always look back and pond on. Because they tell you sometimes to never meet your heroes, and I thought that was going to be the case with him, but I was hoping it wouldn't be. But it wasn't. He was working, doing his thing. I think he was working on a girl at the time.
You can't be that cool for that long and nobody say mean stuff about you and not be actually cool.
I guess, yeah, you're right. Yeah. But he's working on a girl album, and came in there and shook my hand. He let me play some stuff for him, vibed out to it, gave me his opinions on it, told me he liked certain things about it, told me stay there, do this, da. Awesome. Like 30 minutes of just talking to him, stopped what he was doing just to talk to me. It was crazy. I was like, what is happening right now? You know what I mean? I asked him, I was like, you gonna do another In My Mind? He was like, hell no. Because he was on the girl album. But great moment in my life. I think that's like something I always look back on and just say, super cool.
That's like my inspiration for just trying stuff. Because he got a rap album, he's got a pop album, he's got essentially, and he already isn't rock, but essentially like they're rock mixed with whatever else. Yeah. And even they changed album to album. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's been so cool to witness that on a large scale.
I think I told you too, like around that time, we had, at the end of our conversation, he was like, I want to lock in with you and let's see what we can create together. And I was like, amazing, like you're my hero. Like I would do that at the drop of a hat. And then Happy came out.
Oh yeah, but he was already so famous. There's no reason that could have like.
Happy took him to another like stratosphere. Like
White
he
people.
was, he was
sorry,
instantly
white people.
instantly
Yeah.
busy. Like he went from like here to like
Yeah.
through the moon. So it never ended up happening. He just got extremely busy. He was on Oprah. I was like, what's happening right now? He was crying and stuff. I was like, what? I guess. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Shout out to
distraction.
Pharrell, man. Always big inspiration. Anybody else you would, or not?
I
Anybody?
was trying to think of like, do I have like a weird celebrity story? And I think I do, but I can't. Like, it left my mind. So I might as well just ask you because I know you've got something.
What's that?
Just like, it was just like a weird or awkward or
I mean, I told you
hilarious.
the Chris Bosh thing was
that
funny.
okay.
But yeah, off the top of my head, oh, okay. So here's one. So we're in the club, right? We're just kind of drinking and chilling. I'm with this is like a very much celebrity music industry type of party, and we're just kind of chilling.
Diddy was there.
Diddy was not there. I will
Okay.
say.
All right.
No Diddy.
Just wanna.
He was not there. But yeah, so we're all just chilling. A lot of my execs and stuff, like they're all there like in the section or whatever. And you know, I'm drinking. I'm by myself. You know, I'm not with anyone. I'm just there because I got invited, and I was like, okay. A lot of times when I do get invited to like celebrity stuff, I try to like not bring people because I'm like, I don't know the rules of this. You know what I mean? So I just popped up by myself, and I'm drinking. I'm doing my thing. And I'm a little tipsy, getting a little faded, right? And then all of a sudden, Anthony Mackie's in front of me, like right here, right? And he's talking to somebody. Totally, yeah. Shout out to Cap. So like he's talking to someone else, and I'm a huge Marvel fan. I love Marvel, right? So like I look at all the stuff Marvel, outtakes, bloopers, and every time he does a take, he says, "Cut the check, cut the check, cut the check."
That's it. Cut the check. We're done. Little bitty book, sign check, rip it out. Done.
Oh, that was good. Cut the check. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He says it all the time, right? So he'll finish the scene and he'll be like, "Cut the check," like he killed it. You know what I mean? Like give him his money, right? So I'm drinking and I go up to him and I'm like, "Cut the check."
Oh my gosh! And he's not like
And
good
he-
with people,
bro. And he's looking at me like, "What the fuck is going on?" Oh my god, he would not know anything about this night, but it stuck with me because obviously, like I'm me and he's him. So like, yeah, it was fun. It was a good. That's a great.
the
Great
check.
smoke. I was like, "Cut the check." He just looked at me like, "What the hell?" Like he was smiling and laughing at it, but he was just like, "What is going on?"
That's horrible.
But it was funny. That's like another little. I got plenty of stories like that. I just gotta dig them up out of my memory.
I think I had one and I just can't remember it now. Because that's why I brought it up and now it's out of my mind. Sorry, y'all.
That'd be a good little segment just to cut up to a reel or something.
That's so dumb.
Have like his face through the,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we can keep going. Anything else you got?
You should be. Bro, I'm gonna ask you all the questions.
Oh, I mean,
you asked me the
fine
last
with that.
question, but yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, yeah. I thought we could straight through this, but maybe we can't because I don't know. I'm not good at this stuff.
We were talking earlier about how like the creation, like the process of our projects are created, and we were
Yeah.
talking about some of the breakups and some of the things that we both went through to kind of like get there and who we attributed it to. Isn't that like a weird thing to kind of like have had a relationship with someone that took us where we needed to be? You know what I mean? And it's like a weird dynamic there where it's like you don't really
To
understand.
me, there's like probably one or two people where that's the only reason they could have been in my life.
It's
Is
the-
that like I got records
you.
out of it.
right.
And that seems weird and transactional to a degree, but it's like that. I don't see what other purpose. And I feel like everybody has something. I learned something that I didn't want or that I need to do better at or something in
Yeah.
each relationship. And there's at least two girls where it was just like, you was here because I need some new music. That's crazy. And yeah, so all of Hours Spent Loving You was pretty much one story. from one relationship. In hipster,
That's the first one.
yeah, ours was
Okay.
the first one.
So that's like Winter Toes and
Hipster Girl and all
Girl,
that,
yeah.
talking about Austin, Texas, because that's where she lives. Yeah, it's crazy.
it is. It's a very, very weird thing. Has anyone ever hit you about a song and said, "I know you're talking about me," like, or give you their reaction to it? You know what I mean? I'm sure that's a thing.
Yeah,
I know Drake gets that call a lot.
because there's songs I've written about specific situations with other. It's not like I'm
Like
only
only you two would know about it, or
pretty much. Yeah, especially like "Cry and Lie" is very specific. Like just the whole layout. She likes the song, so that's cool. they typically like the songs,
Yeah.
even though they're typically not like great. It's not something you want to hear from somebody, but the music is good. So what can you do about it?
right.
But Running Round was, I don't want to say any of these people's names, but you know who I was like pretty much through high school and like who I was like trying to be with the most at that time in Warner Robins. And that's about her. And she came I had my first headline in Atlanta. She was at the show and I mentioned it afterward. I was like, that's like about you. She was like, yeah, it was great. I was like, this is not like a favorable love song.
Yeah.
I'm basically
not
calling you a
telling
jerk the
like,
whole
to
song.
Make you like proud of it.
Right, but she was, and I'm like, all right, bro, this is weird.
Yeah, I don't like that part of it. I don't like the fact that they get joy out of it, out of what was essentially pain that was kind of conveyed through the song. You know,
I don't know if it's joy, because it's like you want to recognize that because you still got to hear the lyrics and be like, okay, that sucked, and that's a mirror to me. But at the same time, the song is fire. What are you gonna do about that part of it? Like, you gotta enjoy.
Right.
Like if it wasn't about you specifically, you'd be like, this is amazing, and you would sing it that way. And I think that they're appreciating it to that extent, right?
Yeah.
Not so much like, dang, like I've really hurt this nigga. Like this is great. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it was weird for me because the girl Aura was about, and some of All Has Fallen, if not most of it.
Nah, that was definitely because that had like the
Yeah.
voice, right?
And
You did like 3 straight projects about her, bro. You
Yeah.
needed therapy.
yeah, actually it was 3, wasn't it? It was her.
Straight.
It was her, Aura 1,
All
and
Have
then
Fallen.
All Have Fallen. Yeah, and then I ended it there because 478 outro was like
You needed to seek the Lord.
needed therapy.
I don't know what was going on, bro.
But she called me like a year or 2 after that, and I hadn't talked to her in years, and she was crying. She was just like, I didn't know I hurt you that bad. I'm like,
3
hey,
albums.
3 albums.
You hurt me that bad. That's how bad you hurt me.
I mean, 3 albums about you. God dang. So yeah, that was interesting because it was like you almost got like a sense of like clarity and almost like the Last Laugh type situation where it's like I'm where I am now. Hopefully you're doing great. But you know what I mean? Like this, you see the product of what that pain brought me. You know what I mean? And now you're looking back on it and you're realizing like, oh, I didn't realize like how bad it was for you. It's like, I was trying to get in contact with you. You know what I mean? So it's like, that was like my only interaction with, I guess, a muse in that sense. I think she might be like, and then like I saw an interview before, I think it was Black. Shout out 6 Lack. I think he was saying something about like these days when he's creating, he takes like pieces of each X and forms a super X. That's what he said, and that's I've kind of like taken that model myself, and a lot of my songs these days is just like bits and pieces from each relationship I've been in, and I just make new stories out of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's these days. But from those first 3 projects were definitely about one person. So.
Yeah, for sure. For me, man, I'm not necessarily like taking from X to X, but the stories that I present oftentimes can be other people's stories in my like that are around my life or that are in my life. So maybe this song isn't specifically about me and what I'm going through. Maybe it's like my perspective of what my brother
came to you about something.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I have a lot of music like that on my upcoming album, on some past songs. Tarantino was my dad, like talking to my mom when they were in college. Like that's the whole idea. That was the whole setup of that story.
I didn't know that. That's cool. That's dope.
Yeah, my mom was engaged when my dad met her.
Oh, wow.
And so just kind of like talking through from his perspective today, how that would be all kind of like, I put those stories together to just bring more life to the music, because
I've lived the creative touches that people don't really get to see. That's what this type of stuff is for. So they can understand like just how well thought out some of this songwriting is, you know.
You live but so much life, right? And you go through but so much that you can actually draw from. And to me, it's gonna feel extremely like inauthentic if you're trying to persuade us about an emotion that you never had.
Yeah.
And you want to put that on the music and expect that it's gonna be this big record.
For sure.
Like, be honest. Whether it's from somebody you care about or yourself, have knowledge of the situation, have insight on it, put yourself in those shoes and make it happen. Yeah. And let that connect with the people. Yeah, that's the perspective I take.
The listener can hear or grasp like when it's genuine and when it's not. I think that's why a lot of times we talked about this in the car earlier, like people just sing. Yeah. And you're like, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. Nice voice. Yeah, you got a great voice, but I don't feel anything when I listen to this. So sometimes, like you were saying earlier as well, when you were creating, it's like you don't need to go back and re-record it because it gave you a certain feeling, even if it's not exactly how you wanted it to sound. When you listen back to it, you're like, oh, that I feel like this is gonna relate better. You know what I mean, to the listener. So
I got a rule that if I like teared up at any point listening back to it, even if it's not perfect, I can't change it. I just can't.
That was me for like Harley Bridge, I Don't Believe in Love, and
it's stuff on this some of my music that's just not like exactly where I want it to be, but I felt something, so I left it.
Yeah. For sure. Is there like a song that you've made up to this point where you're like, this is the best work I could possibly put together?
No.
A specific record or no?
No. Projects maybe, but not. If You Feel is the best representation of me as a person, start to finish, because all the different styles on it and all the different thought processes. I look in the mirror on Something Changed. I just talk about wanting to hang with my friends on one song. Yeah. I talk about my mind having to shift in how I think and live out my Christianity. I talk about everything on that album. So it's the best representation of me top to bottom. Upcoming album is the best story I've ever put together.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But
about that record, just because of just like we talked about, you not really ever really doing like a top to bottom like conceptual like story.
Not solo.
Narrative driven type deal. Like I'm excited to see what you come up with on that. I've heard some stuff, but like the full body is I'm excited for that.
Just walking people through different real stories. If anything, as far as like song that just like I love the most, I would probably say Lost in Nostalgia for the writing. I feel like you can just read the lyrics to that song and still get the emotion of it without even having to hear it. But there's no one song that's just like, that's
is there any like, so as you were saying that, I was thinking like, is there a song, because it's easy to be proud of the work that you've done. Is there any songs that's out that you're like, I feel like I could have did this better, or I wish I just never put this out? Like,
there's some songs out that I don't like.
Yeah, I got plenty of those.
It makes sense to be a part of the project, and there's going to be an audience for it, but I don't like them. And one was a single. I hated recording What Do We Do Now? And it ended up being a song people really liked on moments, and there's nothing wrong with it's me on the song. I don't like me on the song in the way that I did my vocal performance and all that stuff. There's other records that I can't think of right now. especially if you want to go further. The further back you go, the more I hate what I've done. But the newer stuff, I've pretty much, if you feel on, there's not a lot of music that I just like don't like. There's because everything has its place.
Yeah.
What about for you?
I got a few, man. I think during my tenure at like Atlantic, it was a lot of and Motown for or 3. There's always been like submissions from the label of like, he should try this or he should try that. More so at Atlantic, maybe less actually. Going into actually more so the last project, Trouble in Paradise,
super interesting
and Trouble in Paradise and or 3. Those two, it was a lot of like, he should try this, he should try that, and a lot of records were sent. Wicked on Trouble in Paradise, I didn't necessarily want to do that record. It was done by Rock City. Rock City's like incredible, like songwriters. They got songwriting credits out the ass. So I mean, like I was interested to see what they would cook up. You know, we did it together, but it was just interesting to figure that out. But like Wicked was one, I think something on like or 2, I want to say. Yeah, I didn't really like something that
Oh, a single you didn't like?
Yeah, a single.
Yeah.
But that goes back to just like this. He would sound great on this. Let's see how, you know. And then also like I was young and kind of like just wanting to do things by the book, and try to make sure I please everyone in the label. And I realized that now, like it's like impossible to do that.
Just because like I did this for y'all, maybe y'all will look out for me more.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you think that this record's gonna be big. I'll try it. I'll do it. Even if I don't like it, I'll do it. And maybe that's the record you guys push the most. That was my thinking. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, you guys like this record. That means that somebody in this building loves this record. And if I put my vocals on this record, then you'll push it. You know what I mean? Then I'll be able to go on and do what I do. But that, and then like there's I think or 3, not so much. I feel like or 3, there was records that I did cut that I ended up not using later on. But yeah, just mainly the records that like I was almost like pushed to do was the ones like I just don't really like. And maybe that's because of the songwriter in me that's like,
which is my favorite thing about your career.
Yeah.
And I am an advocate for that. I want, when
this
you
project,
write the song, it's better.
Yeah. And this project I'm doing right now, I have been doing everything by myself, and you know, me and Chico has been back in the lab. He's been mixing everything. It sounds incredible. So yeah, everything I've been doing by myself, and I'm loving what everything is sounding like so far. So I'm excited to get that out to the world, but it's brand new, fresh material. Yeah.
There's more I could ask, more we could say, but we have to get out of this pure space. So I do want to ask on the way out if you're willing to, from what you have so far with the project, are you willing to share like the name? Are you at that point yet? Or?
I don't think so. I got a couple titles, working titles, but like nothing set in stone just yet. I'm very much in like the 50-60% range. I don't know how far you are into yours. What are you thinking?
I don't even know, bro. I feel like I'm at the point where I'm waiting on other people to do stuff to make the project done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting on some beats to come through so I can round it out a little bit more. But yeah, it's getting there. You know, I feel like what has been done has been incredible, and I'm excited about it. But
is there anything from the past that they could possibly closest related to, or is it completely its own thing?
I think it's closest to All Have Fallen in terms of like the abilities I'm showcasing, I guess, like rapping, singing, and then also like the production is from like Rascal and Keys, AO. You know what I mean? Like the guys I worked with early on in my career. So, yeah. It's coming together. I'm excited about it. It should be really cool. Probably coming out next year. I try to get it out first quarter. What are you looking at? First quarter?
I'm looking at first quarter, but I don't know. We changed this stuff.
I don't know. Yeah, it could possibly move back.
Creative is it's taking longer than I expected. So we'll see.
Just look out for it. 2025. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy to say, because Aura 1 came out in 2015.
Jesus.
10 years. Maybe we should do like an anniversary for that.
You old as crap.
I know. We all.
Yeah. Not me though.
That's you. Okay, you're older than me. But anyway,
Debatable.
yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? Anything else? You got anything?
I've been alluding to it, so I might as well just say Honeymoon Mountain. Honeymoon Mountain is the name of my next album.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with just putting the name out there because I can change it. But
first off, Honeymoon Mountain is like fire title. You know what I mean?
that's where we're going. The story.
And I heard that.
It's surprising.
Did I hear the intro? Was it
Yes. You haven't even heard the newest version of the intro.
crazy?
So
What I did hear before, so I know it's only gotten better. But what I heard before was nuts. So
yeah. I'm excited for what we're doing. Our project together, truth be told, is out right now. It's a culmination of our friendship, of our work together over the years. Really cool to be able to do that, be able to tour together like we did before the project. Even that was dope because we just went off the strength of what we already had, and people came and supported.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
super excited about that, and make sure y'all stream it if you haven't. Keep streaming it if you love it. Yeah, man. That's about it.
for sure.
Pound it.
This is what we do. Like, we do that every time we see each other. For like 12 years now.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank y'all for watching. Peace.
You said 10 minutes ago, so we nailed that.
Anywhere you are,
I was trying to avoid, I don't know, the coughing or whatever, but y'all just mute my mic.
down for me, you ride or die.
I was trying to get some behind the scenes
Just
stuff.
know you